gotta smoke that. Gotta smoke that.
Get up, wake up, get up. I got you in the morning.
Elvis Duran and the Z97.1 Morning Show on Z97.1. The only way to wake up.
The only way to wake up.
In the morning. Waking up laughing is always a good way to wake up in the morning.
Elvis Duran and the Z97.1 Morning Show on Z97.1. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Need a boy who can cuddle with me all night. So in love, that's what I really want.
WCRT-FM Rutland. This is Elvis Duran and the Morning Show.
So this is interesting. Gandhi brought this to us. She's like, hey guys, have you ever heard of a guy named Francis Curry? He's a radio consultant in the UK. And I said, yeah, I've heard of this guy. He's very famous. And you brought us this sound that he posted online about our show. This is freaking me out.
It freaked me out so badly yesterday. So somebody tagged me and said, look, they're talking about your show. So, of course, I had to start listening to it. And this man, Francis Curry, started to break down why you, Elvis Duran, are the most successful radio presenter in the United States.
Oh.
And I found it fascinating.
Well, to be fair, he talks about how we all work well together. It's not just me.
He does, yes, but it's your show.
Okay, let's break this down because he is accusing us of working much harder than we really do.
I died.
Really?
I heard him breaking it down. I said, that's not our show. Who's he talking about?
We have a lot to cover here. Froggy, are you listening? Are you ready to find out why you're so successful?
Yes, I would love to know why.
Okay, this is Francis Curry. Here we go.
In this video, we take a look at one of the most successful radio presenters in America today, presenting the morning show or breakfast show of Z100 in New York. It is, of course, Elvis Duran.
And he's about to give my age. Francis Curry, here we go.
So Elvis Duran was born in August 1964, and he started on the breakfast show on Z100, or the morning show on Z100, in April 1996. When you think of the show, I think you think of a sense of entertainment, a sense of fun, a big crew, and a sense of pace. Underneath that, though, I think there's also plenty of evidence of a level of professionalism in terms of the performances, the planning, the preparation that leaves many other shows wanting.
Okay, guys, pause there.
Professionalism. Wow.
Wow.
Woo, preparation.
He says planning and preparation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. No, listen, I love this guy. We need for him to represent us and be our agent.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Here we go. He actually breaks down what we do. This is fascinating.
And when you look at the clock for the first time, I think most people are just shocked at exactly how much talking there is. Now, bear in mind that this is recorded off the internet, so what you hear on FM coming out of the radio may be very slightly different. But basically, there are 3 speech blocks. The first one runs about 20 minutes, the second one runs about 15 minutes, and the third one runs 6 or 7 minutes. And what's interesting, too, is exactly how much content goes into just one of those speech breaks.
Wow.
So here we can have a look at what's in the first one, and you can see that the first item, which I'm going to play you in a couple of minutes, is called Super Pooper Coffee. It runs 3 minutes.
So I was talking about that coffee that makes me go poop. Okay.
Yeah, Super Pooper Coffee.
He gave it this talk break is called Super Pooper Coffee and fiber supplements.
Then there's a game, Female Porn Star or Yankee Candle Scent. That's the longest segment.
We play a game. You can tell us if it's a female porn star or a Yankee Candle Scent.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that in that day, Nate. Oh, you're welcome. Listen, I love how he breaks down our show. What else did we do that day? This is fascinating. What a show. I would want to listen to this show. It sounds like a trailer.
This piece still only runs 4 minutes, and bear in mind there are 6 people contributing to that as they go around.
This is around the room, right?
Mm-hmm. The third item is Round the Room, where all the different characters on the show, Froggy, Scary, Danielle, Producer Sam, Gandhi, Straight Nate, and Elvis, all talk about something from their weekend, from their lives, and it's a great example of real life as prep. We'll get into that in a moment. Then there's a discussion about snow and the weather forecast that runs 90 seconds. Then we have 3 things we need to know, and the topics Olympics, a coronavirus, Black History Month, and male chastity belts and male chastity belt packing.
Oh my God! Isn't it weird? He actually breaks down this crap we do. This is fascinating.
And when you hear it back, we sound ridiculous.
Our show is funny on paper. I don't know. Okay, hold on.
So the first segment I want to play you is what opens the first speech break in the hour. Elvis just makes it back from the toilet, and I think what you hear is just a wonderful sense of fun and enjoyment. Of course, some program directors will be more nervous than others about talking about bodily functions in the morning show, in the breakfast show. But I think what you hear is just a sense of spontaneous performance that is just a joy to listen to.
Hello?
Is Elvis still in the potty?
Yep.
Yeah.
He said he was trying to hold it, but he just couldn't hold it.
Oh, that was insane what just happened. Are we on? Yeah, we're live. Oh, we just made it.
Everything come out okay?
Oh my God. Why take the local when you can take the express, honey?
It must be that new coffee you're drinking.
It is. It triggered something in me.
Yeah.
What's that stuff called? Super coffee. Oh my God. Comes with a cape. No, I mean, I got goosebumps. I saw stars. Wow. Seriously, it was intense.
I don't even like coffee, and I want to try this stuff out.
Okay, I got to order some more of this stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Do you remember those pills that we used to order like 15 years ago called Oh Wow?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And the pills had all sorts of whatever and some some cayenne pepper in there, and it would wake your stomach up, and you would go to the bathroom and do the crazy stuff, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what you said. Oh wow.
Exactly. You'd be sitting there, you'd be, oh wow. I wonder if they still sell those. I was like, oh my God. Well, I just had an oh wow. I don't want to get into details. It's really gross. I'm sorry. This is very crass to get into this, but the super coffee. Super pooper coffee. I got.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to call it pooper coffee from now on. What's scary?
I also feel that coffee doesn't go with certain people's personalities. Like you, it may be great for you, but I don't think I could have super coffee because I know that I would be like talking 1,000 miles an hour and I would be all jittery.
It's like when you took those pills back in the day. What were those things called?
Healthy Trim.
All right. So he comes back and talks about that.
He comes back right after that part where Scary's talking, and he says, now, it's hard to tell if they had prepared this whole thing or if it was just an actual improv type thing. And I'm like, oh, no. Yeah.
Let's see what he says. Hold on. I'm not kidding. He almost lost his job because we could not deal with him. It was like dealing with, it was like he was on crank.
Elvis told him he's not allowed to take them anymore.
Yeah. They said, but they're a sponsor. I've got to take it. I said, no, we'll lose the account. It's okay.
I turned into a whole different person.
Oh, he had moved. We're talking about how scary it was. Awful. He would come his weight, lost pills, and he turned into a monster. It's like adopting a cute kitty, and all of a sudden the kitty turns bad and starts climbing the curtains. That's what Alex. That's what Scary was doing. Oh, here he comes.
One of the things about that segment is we don't know if that actually happened as it happened, or whether it was prepared in advance, because the show just excels at really thorough preparation, then really spontaneous performance, and that was a lovely...
By the way, no, that's really what happened.
There was no preparation.
Oh my goodness.
Example of that very spontaneous performance. So, just to refer you back to the clock.
Okay, well...
item 3 is Round the Room. This is a daily feature where basically all the people on the cast, and it's a large cast, will talk about something. As you can see from the durations on the right, this is a well-controlled, well-managed bit. And I think this is something that Elvis does particularly well, not just in terms of discipline on the show, but also the show's casting itself is really good, so that everybody has a very distinctive personality. And as you'll hear, the segments they do really amplify those different personalities. But also they're well cast in terms of their voices. Everybody has a very distinctive voice, which makes the show easier to follow and navigate. Yes. Even though Elvis himself, I think, has said on occasion that the show takes a while to get to know, but once you do know it and like it, then you're kind of part of the gang. The other thing that Elvis does particularly well is he uses people's names a lot to make sure that you always know who's contributing if it's not Elvis himself.
I do.
And I think this is something that a lot of shows don't do particularly well, where you can have two presenters.
I agree, Francis. Well, here you go. So this goes on and on and on. I mean, I don't want to bore anyone with this.
So cool.
But being on this show, we could listen to this all day because it's so fascinating to hear someone actually listen to what we do every day and they have an opinion about it.
Yes.
Wow.
What have we learned?
So much credit that we did not deserve.
But that's what we learned.
Yeah.
We learned don't be prepared and you're going to get lots of love and kudos.
Well, here's the thing, and this is something that goes unsaid, but we rarely prepare a lot on the show. We know that. But the key to doing a show that works with little preparation is you have to have faith and trust in each other. You just do. You have to know that, we have how many wheels on this truck? If one goes flat, we have the other wheels to keep us going. And that's just kind of what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nate.
I found that out when I guest hosted for you. I realized that, hey, you have one idea or 5 ideas going into a break, but then as soon as the microphone goes on, something happens. Danielle says something that's ridiculous, and then you just have to go with it. If you don't go with it, you sound like a moron. You know what I mean? If you don't acknowledge what's happening around you, you miss that opportunity.
It's true. Yeah, Froggy, you've been doing this since you were a kid. This Francis Curry. Who doesn't love Francis Curry? He's our best friend.
He's our new friend.
Some of the best breaks we have is when something's going on and then Scary's like, okay, 30 seconds. And I was just like, oh crap, I don't have anything. Hold on, what are we going to do? And then when we start, it just goes off on its own deal. And that's some of the best times that we have. We don't sit around. And I've worked on shows where it's, okay, when we start, you're going to say this, and then I'm going to say this. And then how are you going to react? And I'm like, this was awful. It was awful. I hated it.
I could never work for a show where they go, okay, you're going to say this, and then you're going to respond like this. Oh,
yeah.
And then you're going
You used to have to write down what we were going to say, and then I found out why we were writing it down, because the guy that was the host, Kenny, he was not that funny, so he would take other people's lines.
Froggy,
that's the worst.
Please don't start.
I actually knew of a show where the male host, he hosted the show, he had a female co-host, and he wanted to hear laughs on every one of his jokes, even if they weren't funny. So he had